Okay, so this video we're going to test out our blockchain network that we just installed on the Kubernetes cluster running on Bluemix. So you can see in our connection, our Composer card wallet, we have the cards that we need in order to connect. We have one admin at BMX, which I named it, and the admin at local is our local one, obviously. So we're going to be interested in this admin at BMX and using those to connect to our remote instance. You can see that we have a cluster again created. We have one worker node because we're using the free cluster. This is our IP, our public IP address for that cluster. You can see just kind of it's the basic 2 CPUs, 4 gig of RAM. If you do a paid cluster, you can add many more workers, and that's really the power of Kubernetes. Is that when it'll do everything it can. If one of the workers goes down and you're supposed to have 4 workers, it will bring up another worker for you, so it maintains that state of 4 workers. So very powerful, very good to use. For the free version, you only get the 1 worker, but that's okay. We can actually do a lot with this as well. So let's go ahead and test this out. So what we're going to want to do is run similar to what we did before. Run the Composer REST server, and it will ask us for a business network card. Now in this case, before we gave it the local one, and that connects just to our local machine. We want this one. We want the admin at BMX. And we'll go ahead and take the defaults. This is starting the REST server for us. The REST server runs locally, but it connects remotely to the Kubernetes cluster that we have. So we're still going to use this localhost 3000 here. This time though, it's actually running again on our remote instance. And I should be able to see that if I go into run my queries, select packages. Remember before we created a package locally, so this shouldn't have anything in there, and it doesn't. There's nothing in the response body. There's no packages or anything yet. So I'm going to have to go through and create a shipper again. So I will go ahead and do that. Company ID, we'll call it, let's call it shipper 2, and we'll see Tom's shipping. So let's create that. Looks like it actually created it. Get a response code 200. Great. I will copy and paste this because we're going to need it when we create our actual packages. So let's go ahead and create a package. And we'll give it a package ID 1, customer ID. Actually, let's create them different than our local one. So we create package 2, customer 2, and the owner, in this case, will be shipper SH2, I believe is what we used. And let's go ahead and create that. Looks like it created it. So we should have a package in the created state, and we have a shipper that owns the package. So let's go ahead and here we are. Run a query real quick. Let's run our queries, select packages again. Hopefully we see our new package in there. Okay, that's the one we just created. Great. Let's go ahead and move it to in transit. Test this out. Again, if you just click in this window, it kind of fills it in for you automatically, which is nice. And we want org acme tracking package. So if we remember the package ID, I think it was P2. Timestamp transaction ID you don't need. Let's go ahead and send that across and see what happens. Hopefully it'll update it to in transit. Looks like it worked. It says in transit. Let's go ahead and check our query again, select packages. Hopefully this changes. And here it is, in transit. So, great. It looks like we have we were able to create a couple of assets, at least one asset package, and we created a an owner for that asset, and then we actually tested out a query here. We could test out a couple different queries again. Maybe we want to test out one of the other ones, packages by customer. Customer ID C2. And there it is. So you see I currently have a package that's in transit. So, again, this is using a locally installed Composer REST server to connect remotely to our Kubernetes cluster, which has the installed Hyperledger Composer as well as our actual business network, our shipping network that we created before. So I hope you've enjoyed these videos. Again, reach out if there's any questions. I will put again all the different links to the different documentation in the end of the videos to help you along. Thanks.